Monday. So much to do. So much work.
Live streaming is on.
Always. Mondays are always wild. I need lots of coffee, and I have to be amped up because there's so many sprint plannings and so many dreams about what we're gonna do in the next week or 2 weeks. So that's always exciting. And as far as what I want to do, probably work with Bowen. I have a tie for two because I want to work with Edu and get liquidity mining, but that's blocked by getting their bridge going. So I'm really excited to get DappNode's liquidity mining program out so we can model after it. But if that close number two is working with Bowen to get the airdrop stuff done and just check in with him. And I'll pass it to Amin.
Hi, I'm feeling a little tired. I was busy with some buying in Giveth race. I will be busy on the call with some development when I'm like to listen what you discuss. Yeah, I pass it to Monique.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, evening, and last week I just get familiar with the project and mostly on onboarding, and then coming week I have to go to travel. I have to travel north of Iran. It's my vacation time, and I'm feeling a little bit busy today because we have a road trip tomorrow, and after that week I hope and I join the team and do as best as I can. I'll pass it to Mitch or Matthew, sorry.
Mateo.
Yeah. Hey everyone. I wish you a happy week this time. I'm feeling really refreshed to start on new stuff this week. Very excited and looking forward to what's the work that Mark has been doing with the design. I took a peek to the Figma files and that is looking amazing, man. So keep it up. Looking forward to work on that eventually and see what's going to happen. I'll pass it to Willie.
Thanks, Mateo. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. It's perfect timing. I just got my first cup of coffee and had my first sip, so starting to wake up, excited for this week. Oh man, so many exciting things going on. I'm super excited to see Marco's new designs. Every time I see Marco's designs, they're always better than I ever could have even dreamed of. So cannot wait to see that. I haven't seen anything yet. That'll be awesome. And then yeah, excited for the big launch this week and the big announcement for marketing to make a big splash. And I'm looking forward to retweeting everything, all the awesome tweets you guys put out there. And yeah, in terms of like excited to work on this week, I think this will be a good week for collabing on the narrative stuff for the Give token and economy. Excited to do what I can to push that forward, and I think supporting with the narrative stuff could be a good fit for this week. So yeah, Lauren, if you need any help with the give back stuff, maybe I'm definitely happy to chat through that and help out any way I can. All right, has everybody gone now? Danny, have you gone?
I have not.
I'll pass it to you then.
Yay, thank you. Okay, I am feeling super activated. Lots going on. Got to hack on and review a lot of stuff in the last few days. Got a lot of clarity coming through. I am super excited about coordinating the launch of the new DApp out and through all our channels, and also thinking about how it's a teaser for what's to come. And we're excited about what we're launching now. And we also want to build excitement for what's to come. So just thinking about that, like it's like as soon as we celebrate one thing, then the excitement pours in for what's coming after that. And then my priorities for our call today is I'd really like us to be able to use this time to hack on the two different sides of Giveth governance. I want to offer this time up to do everything we can about the airdrop recipients and any other. I saw Give DAO somewhere, and I wanted to just kind of drop that back in. I'm excited about the thought that everybody who comes to join Giveth is going to be a member of our DAO by holding these tokens, and all the different ways that we can meme that and get the narrative and messaging drafted. So with that, oh, and then the other thing is I've been hacking away, reviewing all the stuff in SourceCred and gathering all the information now that we have praise up. And I thought that I was being a little too colorful with my spreadsheet, but then I clicked on the link for the token engine, the TEC praise. I know, Mateo, you were working on that, and Griff, I saw the link pop through today, and I looked at that and I was like, okay, I'm good with colors. We like color coding. I'm happy about that. So that's just where I am. Anybody who's interested in wanting to contribute to that, I put that a little further down on the agenda. But let's, oh, and then there's a couple other things. Mateo, last week you had mentioned you wanted to drop in about your payment update. So I have that on the agenda as well. And then looking ahead to March and our payments for March, and making sure that we're all thinking about how to keep the gas fees on Giveth down and off of our pocketbook to the greatest extent we can. So does anybody have anything else you want to have on the agenda, or anything you think is a super high priority that we should use this time for? All right. Well, let's dive into the Give token distribution and the airdrop and participant spreadsheets. I feel like I am not as well informed as I would like to be on what needs to happen. For the last 2 weeks, I saw that we were going to have a proposal to verify and approve the token distribution for old participants, for donors. So is there anything we can do in this time to take a look at that and help get it closer to being ready?
You're talking about for past Giveth contributors?
Yeah.
Past Giveth donors.
Yeah, so the spreadsheet that Bowen was working on.
Yeah, I believe the donor side is done. I guess we could show that one tab and simplify it. Do we want to vote on each individual piece of the airdrop, or do we want to do the whole airdrop all together? I guess is the question. I mean, I'm definitely down to do either. Personally, I think they're both good options. Willie, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we could. I was just copying over the donor list to a clean spreadsheet so that we could do a proposal in the DAO and get it approved. And yeah, I think it's a little bit cleaner than last time I looked at it, so maybe it would make sense to just run through it really quickly and give people an overview of how we do that. Cool. You want me to run through it, Griff? I got it pulled up. Okay, cool. Let's do it.
You want to share your screen?
Yeah, I'll do a quick screen share. All right. So a lot of spreadsheet magic went into this. As you can see, there's a ton of sheets in this document. But yeah, we started with this document has both the overall Giveth token distribution. So this is the previous sheet that has gone through DAO approval. And as you can see here, these are the rows we're looking at. So the airdrop list that's ready to go are people who donated to Giveth directly. So we took 4 million of the 100 million tokens, and we said we're going to give these all to people who donated directly to Giveth, whether it was through a Gitcoin grant or through the Giveth project or just sending to the multi-sig. We wanted to make sure that everyone who donated to Giveth was going to get some Give tokens in the airdrop. The next row that we wanted to airdrop in this list was the old donors, the projects on Giveth. So anybody who donated to any of the projects on Giveth Trace, we set aside 2 million tokens for that group. Then the other row that's included in the list we're going to look at right now are Gitcoin donors. So we basically said everybody who's donated to Gitcoin would be a good user for Giveth. We didn't want to necessarily do everyone because there's, especially in the last round, there were a lot more donors. So to trim the list a little bit and make sure that the people that were included got large number of tokens, we decided to airdrop to everybody who participated in 2 or more rounds on Gitcoin and wasn't included in this list of donors. And here's what that looks like. So this is the sheet that I'm going to link in the DAO proposal. Basically, what it has here is all the different addresses that are in one of those 3 groups. And then you can see here for each of these addresses, how much have they donated to Giveth in total. And this is from this is the aggregate of donations to the multi-sig, to Giveth's grant. Basically, we took all this list of donors to all the different destinations and aggregated that into a single row for each donor. So you can see here, for each address, how much they donated to Giveth, how much they donated to projects on Giveth, and then the number of Gitcoin rounds they're included in. And then basically that's how we calculated their airdrop amount. So that's where the total airdrop comes from. And then we went through and we named some of the addresses that we could identify to do some sanity checks as well, especially for anyone who had over 20,000 tokens. We made sure that those addresses were legit and there weren't any issues there or any mistakes.
I think it's the notes column is filtered, so you can you might want to unfilter that.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, and just a final note here, we the way we calculated this too was using quadratic formula. So for the donations to Giveth, everybody who donated to Giveth got at least 7,000 tokens of that 4 million. That left 1.92 million. Then what we did is we allocated that 1.92 million tokens quadratically. So we took the square root of the amount that everyone had donated, and then we multiplied the share of all the share of the quadratic share. So the square root of their donation divided by the square root of all the donations, that's your quadratic share, and that's how much of the 1.92 million you would get. We did the same thing, a quadratic formula for the donations to projects on Giveth, but we used 3,000 as the floor because there was 2 million tokens instead of 4 million tokens. And then for Gitcoin, everybody who donated 2 or more rounds on Gitcoin and wasn't included in the donation to Giveth or the donation to projects on Giveth got just a flat 1,111 tokens, which I know 11 is Danny's favorite number. It's my favorite number too. It's a nice round number. Any questions about how we calculated this before this goes up for proposal to the DAO?
So I don't have questions about how you calculated it. I do have questions about how that calculation is documented and whether that's something we'll be sharing publicly in our docs or anything like that.
Yeah, it's a great question.
We should definitely have a blog post that goes through it. I don't know if we need to share the spreadsheet. It's not usually good, but like just saying it with words is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think there's lots of examples of this for other airdrops that we can model after. Most of them do not go into that much detail. They just say, yeah, if you donated on Gitcoin to 2 or more rounds, then you get some. And we can say, oh, then you get at least, 1,111 tokens.
Right. I know there's a few people on this call who have expressed that they'd like to understand this better. So part of the reason why I'm asking that is that it might be a good activity for somebody who wants to understand how this works, to document it at least for ourselves, to be able to communicate it if somebody asks a member of the team, to be able to have that understanding and a place to reference for it. And then if somebody wants to know, we can send them to it. But I'm definitely thinking more for our team to make sure everybody here understands how we're doing that.
Yeah, the spreadsheet has a lot of math in the cells, and whoever wants to do that, Willie or I could walk them through and look at each, each row kind of just is what is happening, right? Each row kind of just has all the math there. So
cool. Okay, and so that's the tab. I'm sorry, I have way too many tabs open. Where did I get lost at?
Yeah, and then there's too many tabs in that tab. So,
tabs within tabs.
I think the one thing that's also worth mentioning is a lot of these addresses we don't have, and we just write 0x MakerDAO rich, 0x rich hyphen MakerDAO, and we'll figure it out. And with we could try to hunt down some of these addresses, and I'm sure we will want to, but it's not like a blocker for us to get to the finish line with figuring out the airdrop. Is what I would say. It says that we can switch it later if we have to, after everything's deployed.
Sure. And then I would imagine we probably want to set up some sort of incoming communication process so that we could incorporate into our communications flow. Have you donated to or through Giveth, and a way to contact us and let us know that they're out there and how to update their address if we want to? I imagine that would be somewhere in our roadmap a little bit.
I would just be careful with that. You don't want to invite people to try to waste our time if they haven't. You know, hope. I think if people if they donated to us and they don't get their airdrop, like according to that blog post, you know, they won't be. A lot of people won't be quiet about it. You know,
Right. But we don't need to invite it.
Yeah, not so much. Maybe just a one sentence, you know, or something in the blog post that says, "Hey, if you fulfilled this criteria and didn't get an airdrop, please reach out." But
yeah, right on. Okay, so what are our next steps there? Is there anything that there's just so much work you guys have put into this already. How can we support you with the next phase? I guess contributors, people who have contributed to Giveth is the next phase, right?
Yeah, Bone is basically leading all the next phases. So there's the contributors, and then there's the people who have actually participated in Giveth, in the Giveth app, have been recipients, milestone managers, campaign owners, DAC owners, or whatever the other options are, recipients. Yeah, so all those guys, and we'll pass the spreadsheet to Amin. But Mohammed's on vacation, right, Amin, this week? Yeah, Amin's not here. Monique?
Yes, Mohammed is on vacation. He's going back after 3 or 4 days.
Okay, so he'll be back like on Friday or Saturday.
I'm not exact. I don't exactly know. Amin is the one who knows, but I'll tell you.
So the contributors thing will probably be blocked until then, I assume.
I've also been working with Bowen on filling out that stuff as well. So if there's more to it, then just like let me know.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
I'll let Amin know.
All right. Let's do this. Is there anything else we can support around the Give token economy? Marco and Lauren and I had a chat this morning just thinking about messaging and site updates. So if there's anybody feeling really inspired and called to diving back into the narrative and the meme strategy of not just the marketing aspect of how we put it out into the world, but actually how we brand ourselves and make updates to the website itself. That's a conversation we're starting to talk about. But other than that, the thing that I wanted to circle us back to with our time today is the reputation DAO. As we're talking about approving things like this airdrop, I want to make sure that our current contributors have a voice in it. And so 2 weeks ago, I made a proposal that anybody who's been participating consistently for about 6 months now, we would do another token distribution. So if you guys want to just hop in, I just put a link to an RDAO token distribution. Basically what I did is I just calculate, maybe I can share my screen and talk about it. Let me jump over here. There. So let's see, I compiled this is basically just a compilation of contributions. So if you've been receiving cred on source cred and pan distributions for the last months, which I think went back to June or to July. I went through and harvested all of that data. So what your cred was for each month. I started out gathering the distribution percentage and then realized that's really not something we're going to need. The more important thing is the cred that you have plus the praise and being able to see people's contributions over time. So the initial distribution that we did on RewardDAO was that 1,111 tokens. You can see that in column C, who has tokens right now. So what I'm trying to figure out is how many tokens we want to distribute for Q1. And Marco posted a question to me. You know, my first thought was 6 months because I think that shows consistency. And what I'm actually thinking now is I would consider revising that and see what you guys think. If people are showing up with 3 months of contributions in a row, then they're eligible to receive the next token drop. I'd like to do these every 3 months, like quarterly. And one of the thoughts I have is, okay, at 3 months, you're going to get 1,111 at your first 3 month period. Those who have been showing up for 6 months or more, maybe we start increasing the increment that we distribute. So people who have been working for 6 months or more would get 2, 2, 2, 2. And the reason I'm thinking about that is for the dilution. So people who do show up and then drop off, we want their value to, the weight of their tokens to diminish over time. The best way to do that is to be adding more to those who are contributing consistently. So you can kind of take a look at this and see what the credit is over time. I just kind of moved folks who used to participate and don't down to the bottom. But we've got a pretty decent list of contributors going here. If you take out the four at the top, I was really surprised I got down to 34. So we have 30 people on this list right now. There's probably more on the Giveth Trace side who aren't showing up. And this is just what I was able to harvest so far and your first look at it. So I would love to hear your feedback. And what I haven't even dove into math yet to figure out how to weight or balance these things. But you can see up at the top, there's a link to our foundation budget that shows the history from cred. And then our new praise spreadsheet is in cell C1. And it's super basic. Like there's a lot of work here to do. I started taking a look at what TEC is doing, and it's even more complex than what we used to do for RewardDAO. So there's still plenty of work. I'm enjoying doing this, and I would also love to know if anybody who loves math and spreadsheets would like to help in any way, because that's not my strong suit, like figuring out the calculations and the weights and things, but I can compile the data and can provide the input on how we want to balance those things. So open up the floor. What do you guys think?
Thank you very much, Bonnie. This looks great. I'm also, did you say that you want tokens to decay over time? Because that's one thing I was wondering is like, what about inactive members? And I would also like to know how we, like, maybe we should ping like 1, 2, 3, so that the one for like Camilo, but maybe Matteo wants to ask him if he still wants to be in the DAO. And we should do the same for Ben and Brian.
Yeah, so we originally talked about, in the very beginning, the decision was passive dilution. So adding, more frequent token issuances is the way we dilute folks who are fading off. But the other thing is checking back in with people to let them know. I know I really appreciate when I get those messages from like Metagame or somebody that says, hey, you haven't done anything yet. We're going to purge you if you don't do something. Maybe our messaging might be a little bit different than that, but to say, hey, we miss you. You have rewards. You have the ability to have a say in the future of giving, and we'd love to have you back.
I agree. I love the messaging, but we probably need another one. But I love the purge, and they get a role that's called the Fallen Ones. The game.
Yeah, it's really fun to see all of the different things we're coming up with in all of our partner organizations, and to see which things we can embrace and modify to take on our own flavor. But I guess, so I don't think we're talking about token burns at all, unless there's a compromised wallet or a violation in some way where we would need to propose that. The question is, how do we dilute it, is what I'm contemplating right now. We can either just give the same amount each quarter to everybody who's participated for the last 3 months. I personally would like to see some sort of amplifier for continuous participation. Like your initial token distribution might be the 1111. The next one might be 2222. And maybe we stop there for a little while and just simple increments, and over time keep taking a look at that and see how it is and what we want to adjust. So I guess that would be my proposal right now. Is anybody who's already been in the DAO and has continued to contribute to do the distribution at 2222? Anybody who's new, have them come in at the 1111 mark. Any objections to that? And I would love to hear objections in Devil's Advocate.
I would say that it wouldn't be bad to have the new distribution be diluting the old distribution, so like if someone's new, they get 2222 just like everyone else. Well, if they've been contributing for 6 months or whatever, just so that they're on the equal footing in that moment, but without the history. Instead of being like being diluted by everyone just twice, basically, because they don't have the previous tokens and they're getting less.
Yeah, that's a super good point. Thank you. I love being wrong. Give me some more.
Also, I would be cool with it being more than just double, like 3333 even. But I don't think that there's a wrong way here.
Okay.
Yeah, I like where you're at that, Griff. And I think Danny, the way you were doing it is more standard, right? Like it's not equity for a company, but when you think about equity for a company, like people in subsequent rounds tend to get less, and everyone gets diluted. But I actually think there's a really good argument for doing it the opposite here and making sure that people who are currently active have a good weight and start off on an equal footing. So yeah, I kind of like Griff's proposal there to do 222 or maybe more for this next round, and do, would it be less, Griff, for people who are already have some RGive? Would they get 111 or less than the new additions?
No, everyone would get the same, I would say. Or I mean, the question is, I guess, if they do the 6 months versus 3 months, if there's going to be a difference there, then maybe there's somebody who gets something different. But
do you think, like, if it is a linear function, that like it would be harder later to offboard people? Should it be exponential?
Yeah, for like next round, if it's like, if it was 3333 this round, then it would be 999 next round, and then 29997.
But the only problem is there we could only do like around 8 or something, right? Or until it gets like such a high number that we
quadrillion tokens.
We could also shift that to be percentages, right? So if we're increasing it to, well, math is so not my strong suit. That's why I'm asking you guys.
We probably should have started with 2 and not with like 1,111. But
I mean,
also like
I think it would take a while before we get to. It would take a while before we get to 256.
Yeah.
I think we'd have a couple years if we're doing this every 6 months or 3 months.
One other question: would it make sense? Because I don't think it does really matter. Like, because this is really decision, and if we say, hey, if you're here half a year, you are basically at the same seniority than somebody who has been here 5 years. Would it make sense then to not like just like so that everybody starts on the same amount? So, for example, like the people who are in now, they would also just have a total of 2. Or would you say it makes more sense to add that on top?
I like the adding on top, personally.
Yeah, me too. I think that was the point of starting out with one amount and then incrementally increasing to dilute, but also the reward those who are here longer over time. I didn't fully understand your question, Kai. Like, do you feel like those who like the amplification based on how long you've been here? Because like one of the spreadsheets for the airdrop, for example, references seniority. So that's kind of the piece that I'm wondering here. Like, how do we carry that over here for the decision making? Like, should it actually matter how long you've been here, or it's just from when we started? If you were here at the beginning, you've got that extra 1,000, and then let's do just a standard amount each consecutive third month. I don't think it needs to like exponentially increase quarter after quarter. That feels like a big, like really big numbers. But if we're just adding the same amount each 3 months.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I meant with linear versus exponential. Like that's a linear function what you're proposing. And the only problem I think would be that it would be hard to offboard somebody, like keep it diluted in that way. It would take too long to dilute people who are not active. That's what I think, at least.
Okay, well, I don't think unless there's something up. The question right now is how do we start? We can change it later.
Yes, I think in that sense, now I think Griff said to add 2 or 3 now. That's a good start.
All right, and then
just because we are at the beginning now, it doesn't matter so much. It would matter in like in 2 or 3 distributions, there would be a huge difference between those two functions. But because it's only the second mint, it's not such a great difference right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question that's a little off topic, but on the same topic. I just noticed that we don't do source cred for Giveth Trace. Maybe we should.
We do. We totally do. Like, so people are captured. The only one I have to add. So if there are new additions, I don't always follow up. I usually look at so the cred is being captured for everyone. Like if you're in Discord, your cred is captured. But I think what's not captured is GitHub for Giveth Trace. And I was actually talking to Mo and Amin yesterday about it. And I think Amin's stance was that the dev team for Trace is handling stuff differently, and they might not be as interested in those things. If you still remember, like RJ and the team back then, they also had like a bit of a problem with like the governance stuff, and that they were mostly interested in programming. But I'm totally open to change stuff. What would be a big one is adding GitHub to SourceCred, but also, and I want to stress this, there is usually no value lost because this is captured retroactively, and whenever we change something, it would give you all the cred you would have gotten anyway in that time. It's just the only thing that So I don't know for distributions, but just this is as far as credit is concerned.
Cool. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I guess we should get consent from everyone to see if they want to be part of the DAO before we just make them part of the DAO.
Well, so that's the other piece that I put into the proposal for how we would do this. Is originally I put 6 months, and I think Marco did. Once I looked at the data, I do feel like we want to make people eligible after 3 months. And then how to become that is you're now, like, I want to be able to tell people, congratulations, based on this spreadsheet, you are now eligible for membership in the DAO. But if you want to be in the DAO, you need to create a proposal that says you want to be in the DAO and request that to be part of the next minting. And then if how official and formal we want to be with this would be people can make a proposal, but somebody in the DAO would actually need to sponsor them and create the proposal for them in order for them to be part of the next distribution. And so this is me starting at a higher complexity level, and you can tell me that it doesn't need to be that complex if you think.
So we have to have our give to make a proposal in the DAO.
Yeah, right. Right now, in order to make a proposal, you need to be a member.
We can change that.
Yeah, I thought it was actually that anyone could come in and create a proposal, even if you didn't have any RGive tokens, but I would just assume that. So you probably know better, Danny. Has anyone tried to create a proposal without having RGive tokens?
I think you can, but yeah, probably it's best to try.
Okay, yeah, I'll try it out real quick. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, there's a permission for it, for who can make a proposal too. So you can just...
We might have to change it. But yeah, to your question, like, so someone needs to make a proposal, right, to mint these tokens, but how complex of a process do we want that to be? I like... at first, yeah, my first thought is to keep it simple. Basically, like, I don't want it to be too much of a barrier where people feel like they have to put a lot of effort in, or they have to, I don't know, some people might be very nervous to make a proposal in front of at a governance meeting to say, hey, I want to join the DAO, but they could still be great people that we'd love to have as members of the DAO. So for that, that's kind of why, like, my gut reaction is to lean towards, if you've been contributing for 6 months, then let's assume that you want to be a member of the DAO. But let's have a discussion about it. Like, we obviously don't want to be adding people who aren't going to be active DAO members. So those are my first thoughts. Any other strong feelings?
I really like the idea of making them make a proposal. I mean, it's kind of like prove that you can interact with this DAO thing.
A DAO proposal, yes, I agree. I think, like, creating a proposal to the DAO.
Yeah, not necessarily publicly. I agree with you. Not publicly in a meeting, but at least, like, interacting with the DAO to do it.
Yeah, I like that too. I think that's a good threshold there, and that shows that people want to be active in the DAO and that they know how to vote on it, or at least create a proposal, which means that there's a good chance they'll be able to figure out how to vote.
Okay, I really like that. So we're streamlining it so you don't have to go through the process of bringing it before the team first, but if you can figure out how to create a proposal and request it, and then go share that in the appropriate channel that says, hey, I made a proposal, please vote on it. All right, so anybody who wants to be part of the DAO, hopefully you just saw that, but I will post it in I'll update the meeting minutes a little more clearly with this. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit on my screen.
Yeah, I'm actually having trouble finding a link to the DAO. So where's the best place to find that?
Well, first I'll put it, can you see it on my screen right now? Or I'll put it.
Everyone have that work / I can do that. I can get there.
I just put it in the chat and in the meeting notes.
Thanks. I'll bookmark it. And actually, if you're there, maybe just, I mean, I could look, but maybe it's fun to show everyone where these permissions are. It's not that hard to see them. If you just go to the Aragon DAO and go to permissions. And all assigned permissions, create new votes. It says right there, assigned entity tokens. So that means that someone with tokens has to do it. So, but we can vote to change that to be any address. And you can just hit that drop down arrow on the right. And you can click manage role. And update permission. Let's see, change the manager. There should be like an any address. No, maybe it's custom address, I guess. And then, I'm surprised that there's not an any address thing. There must be a different way to get the any address permission. I'll do it really quick. Sorry, I led you guys astray.
No, it's okay, because you also said there's a way that one of the things I was wondering is I wanted to be able to praise people for actually voting on things and seeing it. Like when approve. Oh, there's one up already for approving the Give airdrop. So can I see who voted? I can see that I voted. But I don't know how to see who else has voted to be able to thank them for
I would just in Block Scout.
Oh, it's in Block Scout.
Yeah, okay. So just the voting app has an address that you can look at, and you can see all the addresses that interacted with that voting app.
But you can't see exactly which vote they voted on, can you?
Not without looking at the byte data. Although it's not really complicated, it'll be very obvious. You know, it'll be like 00000. You know, for 14, it would be what, like D or something, or C or E. And you'd be like, oh, okay, they voted on 14.
Okay.
I know.
In the meantime, I feel like I should look at this before I vote on it.
Ooh, exciting.
All right, we've got about 8 minutes left in our reserved time today. I'm going to keep hacking on this. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the praise itself. So right now, let's see, our DAO. Cred over time. Right now, our praise spreadsheet is very, very, very basic. All I can say is how many people, how many points I got, how many times I was, clear all. I can go in here and all I know is how many times I was praised and in what channel. We have zero quantification of anything right now. The process we had in the past at Giveth was that each of the circle leaders met once a month, took a look at these, and weighted each of the praises. And then we took a calculation of each circle's consideration and came up with a number, and that equated to, at the time, how much ETH was distributed. But I would imagine here we're going to distribute Give tokens for that. So
that's much better, I think. Like maybe we should talk about how many tokens one praise is worth. But Now you don't need that additional mechanism. If praise should be heavier, more people need to praise, or one person hits praise like 5 times, and that would increase the praise by the factor of 5. But we all, like we said, we said it's actually feature last time because it simplifies things. 1 praise equals 1 unit of praise. Right? And so you don't have to, so you don't have to do that thing where you go back and weight them. They are weighted already. They have a weight of 1, and if it should be heavier, more praise needs to come.
Okay. We definitely need to create a praise channel going forward, because bombing our general and other channels with multiple praise for something that we think is more significant than something else is going to get really, really noisy. I'm okay with doing it multiple times. I would love to see if there was a way to use emojis or something as an amplifier. I don't know if that's possible, though. I'm just dreaming now. It would be nice to be able to have a way to amplify a praise without doing it multiple times, but I'm also not opposed to just doing that if it eliminates the need to maintain a spreadsheet and come together in a meeting and quantify stuff. Doing away with that process would be amazing. And if that's the way to do it, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. I'm seeing.
All right, we created a praise channel.
I also created a channel this morning. I created a give back design channel as a result of the conversation that Marco and Lauren and I had. So we also have a request if people have some design thoughts and ideas, or websites, graphics, images, things that you want to share to be inspiring creativity for us in our next iteration. That channel's there too.
Yeah, and I just made a small request to change the name to Just Design, so it's not.
Okay.
So it's more general, and we just use this channel for anything design related, in case needed. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Done. Okay. I'm excited to keep working on this spreadsheet and figure out how to get our token distribution. I have a goal of having this ready for us for next week to be able to mint some tokens, because we have lots of amazing decisions to make and I want to be really transparent about them. The only other thing that I wanted to just talk about is we are at the 22nd of March. So we've got a little over a week now before the end of March and payment processing for the next month. Is there any reason we should be considering other ways to distribute payments to folks other than than Giveth Trace right now? Or based on our amounts, are you fine with us still doing that? And I'm kind of talking to you, Griff. I know we have that minimum of 250. But if there's anything else we should be thinking about, there is a possibility we could do something different. We have time to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for the pan, I don't know. Like, I would say this is up to you guys. But for the pan, it definitely gets a little messy because a lot of people won't get up to 250 in pan, so. Might be better to not do that with Giveth Trace this round.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But for the payments, I think with most people, I think I'm still just running around asking them individually for payments instead of putting it on Giveth Trace.
Okay, well, the folks that I'm meeting with to do reviews and things, I can add that into our question. I mean, I'm thinking ahead. How do we get over to XDAI on this stuff? I know Trace isn't on XDAI, but there's other things that are. We could be doing Gnosis wallets or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, all I did last month was just ask everyone, hey, how do you want to be paid? And then some people were like,
I want B&B so I can degen. Other people are like, I want a balancer pool. You know, whatever people want. And I think that's been fun and easy.
Cool.
So in some ways it has more freedom than Giveth Trace, and it doesn't cost us all the gas.
Right. Okay. Well, that's coming up in another week or so. And thank you all. We're at the top of the hour. I see that proposal is up there. So people who are already Reputation DAO token holders, please vote. And those
and
who want to be.
I put
Oh, go
another
ahead.
one to make it any token. It was an assign. I just needed to go to assign permission instead of manage permission.
Oh, right on.
To make it so
Cool.
any token can vote. It's vote 15.
All right. Tomorrow, well, we've got to Giveth sync. Giveth one sync right after this one, and a communications chat later this evening. So we'll see you all on the other channels. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.